Tell me what your name is.
Connor Hall.
Connor Hall. Say it with some love, not play with some strength. What's your name?
Connor Hall.
All right.
Hey.
All right, so welcome back to the GameChanger. So today we have my little buddy Connor. I used to coach Connor in soccer. Super athletic kid. I've been cutting his dad hair for years. He actually has really long locks now. But if you go back and search a video called how to do a perfect drop fade on 360 waves, that's that guy. You know, he's had a son that's grew up over time. But yeah, so we're here, super, super excited about this. Connor hasn't had a haircut in a while, so he has very dense hair. Funny thing about this video I want to point out, I actually messed up on Connor's hair. I made a mistake. I left it in the video. If you watch the ASMR version of this video, you probably was like, wait, did he do that on purpose? No, I didn't. At the very back taper part, I nicked him. And I didn't want to take it out. I like to keep everything honest, but I'll show you what I did and I'll show you how I corrected what I did because this is a mistake that happens in the shop a lot. So I thought that was interesting. When I did it, I was like, oh, shoot, here we go. So yeah. So when you're cutting a client with longer hair, especially a kid, as you're cutting it down, like I'm doing right now, I don't cut it to the desired length. I usually go a guard size or half a size above. So that way, as I'm cutting down, what I'm doing is I'm examining and I'm observing the scalp, looking for growth patterns that are multi-directional, seeing if the hair is growing one way when it should be the other way, how dense is the hair, thin spots. Because when a client has had a long hair like this and it's very thick, or it has the illusion of being thick because it's so long, you can find yourself in the trouble spot if you go into confidence. So I'm observing, especially with kids, they're still developing growth patterns, density areas, and all type of stuff like that. If you notice, I'm trying to get it all up in one piece. I like to play. Well, I like to keep it fun. So I'm just really at this point having a good time. I thought it was interesting. So a few things to point out about Connor's hair texture. His edges are thicker than his crown. So when you're doing this type of haircut, when you're doing any type of haircut, because he's getting a high taper with a 1.5 right now, he has a 2 on. If the hair is denser in the middle, it can make the edges look really, really thin. So I'll show you ways to combat that. Yeah, very, very thick hair. Be very mindful when you're cutting kids. Kids are still developing hair. I think I said this, but I don't know. Connor has a thin edge up as well. So I don't want to push him back. We'll get to all of that. But right now, I'm just honestly just having a really good time making some good content. But he has a great, thick, lush hair texture. It's kind of like wool. I'm like shearing it off. When you're cutting kids, you want to get them involved in the process because even though the kids are older, they can get antsy, tired in the chair. So I want to keep him engaged at the very beginning. So that way, as I cut his hair, I'll get what I'm looking for. So we're just having a good time at this point. But yeah, if you look at Connor's hair right there, you'll see, okay, in some spots it's thicker, some spots it's thinner. Also, Connor has, with Connor's hair texture, I want to make sure that when he leaves the shop, it doesn't look like he hasn't had a haircut in a long time. I want us to look like this is a normal, everyday, or once a week routine. So what I'll do is I'll warm Connor's hair up with hot lather to lay it down with a warm rag. What the lather does is it softens up the cuticle, the outer layer of the hair shaft, so that way I can manipulate the hair and lay it down the way that I see fit. All right, so that's what we're doing right now. Now I'm cutting it down. Then I'll come back with the lather. And yeah, so y'all stick around, watch me do that. Try to see if there's anything else I want to talk about. But yeah, really, I'm just studying. Like, as I'm cutting down, like right now, I switched to the 1.5. That first guard was the 2, it was white. This is my black 1.5. And I'm just taking my time. Like, I'll go over multiple times for 1 to get it even and for 2 to look, okay, lighter here, denser here. But yeah, he's getting a high taper. So if you look at my offhand, which is the hand without the clippers, I'm stretching the skin down towards his eye. When you tighten up that skin, it helps the clippers to glide across the skin of the hair much easier. Now I'm taking this clipper and I'm doing my primary line. So I do like a 2-line method, where if you saw the first line with the gold clipper was the primary line, the second line that I put in was the secondary line. And now what I'm doing is I'm taking these clippers and I'm blending that primary section, which is that line, that first line, I'm blending the primary line to the primary section. I hope that makes sense. So I'll say it again. Well, right now what I'm doing is debulking, so I want to tell you about that too. So the gold clippers put the first line in. So at that moment, it created 2 sections. Then I came back with these black clippers and I put another line in. that was 2 lines and 2 sections. This is the second section that I'm debulking right now. Debulking is when I take out some of the mass in the hair. I'm not so much blending it together, but I'm taking out the density so that way it's thinner and easier to fade together. Then I came back after I put that primary line in with the gold clippers, and I blended that line into that first light section was my primary section. So I blended that primary line into the primary section. And right now what I'm doing is debulking that secondary line, which is the line you see me hitting right there, right there. When I say debulking, like I said, I'm lightening it up. You see the line is still there, but it's much more dense. It's not as much bulk around or at that line. Then what I'm doing right now is blending that secondary line into that secondary section. That's, for me, has been the easiest way that I've taught and to achieve a very high level, whether it be taper fade, ball fade, whatever type of fade. It keeps my system structured. It makes it easier. I don't get overwhelmed with the densities and the bulks of the hair. I just take my time. Another thing I want to point out right now, if you notice, I'm not using the full blade of the clipper. What I'm using is the corner because it allows me to hit a smaller surface area versus using the whole blade when I have to focus on the whole area. Why are you using so many clippers, Devontae, or GameChanger? Because I just like to. Okay, well, and there's another reason too, but hold on, let's see if I'm gonna mess up right here. Watch me, I think it's coming. Right now I'm doing a primary line. Oh, right there, bow. See that? Oh, see, I kept going. I didn't mean to do that, but I knew, okay, that's gonna kind of run into the secondary section. I'll make the section, how do I get rid of that? I'll get the secondary section a little higher. And first I stay calm. I stretch the skin and I realize, oh, that's only about 1 inch up. At this moment, I know I'm good. So all this, really, the first thing you want to do if you make a mistake is never panic. The first thing you want to do to not make a mistake is take your time. I've been doing it so long, I got comfortable. I got a little cocky. I knew what I was doing. I'm flipping my clippers when I really was too close to his scalp. So stuff happens, but how do I adjust? Took my time. I knew that was going to fall into my primary section. And then, yeah, and I just faded from there. I'm taking my offhand, stretching the scalp because he has a smaller cranium or a smaller head, and I'm just debulking. Now I know I'm scot-free and I'm good. But yeah, I just thought y'all would want to see me mess up and fix it. So then, now I'm debulking, and we'll go over that system again. Primary line, secondary, primary line, secondary line, primary section. Now I'm debulking the secondary section. And then I'll take some of that bulk off the line, and then I'll blend it together. So that's what I'm doing. Let's talk about combs. I'm gonna just talk y'all through this whole thing. Why not, right? I don't believe in using a brush. I used to when I was a young barber. I used to use a brush while I'm cutting the client's hair. Now I like to use the comb. Why? Because it keeps the hair evenly spaced, and it doesn't allow the hair to clunk up or to chunk together. That's very important when you're trying to achieve a fade that looks smooth or a smooth transition. Now, I'm not saying you can't because there's a lot of great barbers who use a brush, but I'm saying what I found the easiest way for me was to use that comb. Because when they go home and brush their hair, they might not brush their hair the way you brush their hair. So now if you cut it using a brush, that fade after they start to brush their hair may not look the same. But if you comb it, you're combing it through its growth pattern, if that makes sense. So you all watch, and then I'll be back in a little bit. So look, right? So look, as you can see, it's coming together smooth. You can't even tell that I nicked them back there. Time and patience, the fade is coming together super smooth. Now it's time for his edge up. Connor has not fully developed his edge up yet. It's super thin in the corners. The middle has a dozen growth patterns, but I'm not going to push him back. What I'll do is I will, first off, this is the hot leather to lay his hair down. But as far as the edge up, I'll cut it down, and after I apply the shave gel, I'll use the razor over comb to debulk the denser areas to give. Like I said, I can't make the thinner sides thicker, but I can take a little bit of the mask out of the center section to give the illusion of a nice smooth edge up. Like I said, this is hot lather. Why this is so important is because what it does is it helps Connor's hair lay down. Then I'll come back with the hot rag and lay it down, leave a little more, about 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and depending on how I look, I'll do it again. Also, after that hot lather, it'll show me areas that I need to readjust and work on more because now his hair is laying the way it'll lay after you style it. This is another way that I'll debulk, taking some density out in those maskful areas before I edge them up. Now, shout out to the shave gel, y'all. I'm super excited. Pre-sales are over, but the product comes this week, so I cannot wait. It's been 2 years in the making. I believe in this shave gel. I know it's going to work. You all make sure you go order it, check it out. It's a godsend. I'll talk about that more in the next video, but go to GameChangerCosmetics.com to check it out. So what I'm doing now is debulking. I'll lightly look for the thicker areas, and I'll take some of that mask out with the razor, stretch the skin after I apply that Game Changer shave gel, and I give a nice, crisp edge. What makes this shave gel work really well is, for one, after it dries on the skin or the hair, it doesn't leave that crunchy or ashy look. It does, like, a lot of gels kind of, when they dry on the skin, they give it a flaky appearance. Not the shave gel, because we based in aloe, so the aloe is strong and moisturizes the skin. And also, it's a thicker, more transparent gel. So that way, the thickness helps lay the hair down to give it so the hair doesn't run and recoil when you're trying to edge it. But yeah, y'all check it out, GameChangerCosmetics.com. Show me some love, support it. I know you're going to love it. But yeah, look at the cuts coming out great. If y'all remember how Connor came in, he's looking super smooth. So my rule is this. I'm not going to enhance him, because my job is to make his, when I say enhancement with like fibers and stuff, my job is to make him look as good naturally as possible. That's just my belief. That's the craft of it. I have no problem with enhancements, but for me, I want to execute this fade as high quality or as high caliber as I can. He was falling asleep and I was messing with him about it. But yeah, so y'all stick around. We about to finish up. I want to show you this edge up. Let's see. But I think it looks really, really good, y'all. Let me see. Where's Connor? Yeah, the fade looks super smooth. Blended those density areas in, those really light areas in. And I think it looks good. So y'all tell me what y'all think. Hope y'all enjoyed it. GameChangerCosmetics.com. Go check out the shave gel. I appreciate y'all. Look at that. That's the before, man, and that's the after. Let's see what Connor think. What you think?
You did good, man.
Appreciate it, Connor. Thanks a lot, buddy. All right, that's it, y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. My wife calling me. What's up, babe?